Dans mon occupation préférée, travail.
Pierre Cardin is one of the greats. If I stand up, will you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Because it really is, it's kind of amazing. It looks like it's from today.
You know, it's very important that he was the first designer to get into diversity, because designers have that power to globally inspire millions of people.
我觉得问每一个中国人，几乎所有的中国人都知道皮尔卡丹。
How many $1 million did this man make last year? His name is Pierre Cardin. He's the biggest house on the world. Fashion.
Pierre Cardin, il est moderne. Il est structurellement moderne. Il n'est pas de style moderne, il est moderne. C'est-à-dire qu'il a une façon de penser moderne. Et c'est ça qui a tout fait.
So welcome back to Queerguru TV, and congratulations on your movie, The House of Cardin, which I absolutely loved. And it's having its US premiere in New York this weekend. So can we start with you telling us briefly what the movie's about without giving it all away?
It's about one of our favorite subjects in the world, which is Mr. Pierre Cardin. So he is 97 years old. Mm-hmm. He still goes to work every day. He still signs every check. And when we were lucky enough to meet him, we were in Paris, and we kind of stalked him to be able to meet him. All we really wanted was, because we're just fans and we love his design, we just wanted to get, like, the Facebook picture with Pierre Cardin shaking his hand, so all our friends would be impressed. And before we knew it, we were sitting down and talking about doing a documentary. And so we were showing him all the things that we collect, that we have in our house, we have on our phone, and it was like our furniture, and we have a 1972 Javelin that he designed. Mm-hmm. And so he's looking at things. He looks at the Javelin, he looks at us, and he says, "Okay, what do you want to do, and when do you want to start?"
Mm-hmm. like that?
Everything. We want to do everything.
And then, as you see in the film, the same thing happened to Jean-Paul Gaultier and Philippe Starck, right? He just meets you and he knows.
Yeah. So it's an overview of his entire career. And also, we spend a year with him today, now. And we get to really find out who the man is behind the name and the label. As Todd and I said when we first got a chance to meet him, we didn't know there was a Pierre Cardin. We thought it was sort of like Kleenex, like it's a name. and there's shocked. This brand that exists. And then we found out, no, it's this, beautiful, fantastic person.
And we were actually just fans of his design, not even his clothes so much. We were collecting the furniture. He had a record label, which really sent us over the moon. But then when we started researching him and finding out he diversified the runway. He was the first to do designer pret-a-porter, menswear, children's wear, the first to globalize, right? To go to China, to Japan, to Russia. It's just endless. I know. And the more you dig, the more you just find he's done these extraordinary things his entire life and didn't need a big fanfare for it.
But what made it special, you got over wonderful archive footage.
Yeah.
Did that come from him, or did you have to dig deep?
We had to dig for that. Mm-hmm. There's an archive in France called INA, and what does it stand for? I can't remember what it stands for.
French television.
It's the French television archive.
Okay.
And so we, you put in the name Pierre Cardin, and 70 years of being in front of the camera show up, and so he's been a fashion designer for close to 70 years. So we had to dig through all of it to try to find the parts of it that really tell the story.
And we don't speak French, so it was no easy.
You barely speak English.
True that.
but you answered one of the things I was going to ask you about. You uncovered a lot of facts. People like me who knew him didn't know that. I watched this film with Barbara Hulanicki, who was a major fashion force. She was Bieber in the early 1960s.
Yeah.
You know her? And she was shocked. Well, she loved the film. Totally loved the film. And was shocked of how much we didn't know about the man.
Right?
It's interesting though, because we said sort of the same thing. Our guiding principle at the beginning of making the film was, who is Pierre Cardin? We
Yeah.
wanted to answer that question because we felt like it's one of those things like what you're saying. Everyone sort of knows of him. Nobody knows anything about him. But when you go back into this archival material, you find out he's been telling us all along. It's actually all there in the archival, and he's been very consistent.
Mm-hmm.
So over the years, the way that he has talked about himself, the way that he's talked about what he loves, about what he does, is laid out for you across decades.
What I like most of all was the respect you showed him, and for the man and his work. And did you think, like I did, that he'd been underappreciated by the fashion industry?
Absolutely. I think he got a bad reputation around, the late 80s, early 90s, where people just started thinking of him as the bargain brand.
Yeah.
Right? What you get at Ross Dress for Less. And the truth of the matter is, he was the first, he went the furthest, and he lost interest in it.
Yeah.
He let his American licenses go in 1990 because he wasn't that interested in that. He was interested, like he does in everything, of doing it to the fullest, of going the furthest to, and he did. So, I think his reputation got very sullied. Of course, you go to China, and it's a very different story.
Oh, totally. I got the film.
He's a deity there, right? He is the person who brought color and individuality and creativity to this, these cultures that were very gray and black. And
he got more respect from me as well by the fact that he kept giving other talent a first chance. Philip Stark, Jean Gaultier. It was one of the, but the thing about your films I love is you have this interesting array of characters, of talking heads. I mean, I still haven't quite recovered from Mansfield and Mammy von What's-Her-Face, which was quite shocking. Who was your favourite this time? Sharon Stone?
Sharon Stone was really amazing, and she was so professional. She came in ready to do it, wanting to do it, asked for nothing. I mean, she said, "Oh no, I don't need hair and makeup. I don't need anything." She came in, just sort of pushed her hair around, and was on camera before you knew it. But our favorite interview, number one favorite interview, is Jean-Paul Gaultier, because he's the most beautiful, generous man.
So nice. And really loves Pierre.
And he's the hardest one to actually nail down and get, not because he didn't want to do it, but because he wanted to do it so well. So he was saying, I don't want to just give you 30 minutes in between some other appointment. I want to have an afternoon free. I want to sit down with you for 2 hours and really talk to you about him, because he's important to me. So he gave us a beautiful interview, and he's just a lovely guy.
We're big fans. I was a fashion designer. I haven't told you this before for years, so I was a big fan. It was one of my treats to go to his store in Paris. He's a subject for another movie later on.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely.
When I thought you were not going to get personal with Mr. Cardin, you talk about the big love of his life. Did he talk to you about that himself?
No.
He does not talk much about his personal life at all.
Yeah.
He wouldn't talk about Jean Moreau.
No, but you covered it very discreetly. But it was from what I read after seeing your film, this man was very important to him.
And to the entire organization. So it was not just Pierre, but it was Maurice Gaspard, it was René Taponnier, that this man touched them all very, very deeply, and was a major partner in creating what is Pierre Cardin Paris. So
I mean, we say it all in the film, but just in a nutshell, he opened his House of Cardin with André Oliver.
Yeah.
So these two men built that empire together. And as Gaultier says, André Oliver was more client, right? He was doing Jackie Onassis.
Yeah.
And doing the clothes that sold by the thousands. And Pierre was off doing the avant-garde things that were getting all the headlines. So they actually were like a perfect couple in making a successful business.
But do you think it's interesting that Saint Laurent, Valentino, both had strong men behind them? They're who originally they're life partners as well. It's interesting.
And Gaultier as well.
Oh, yeah. What's next for the film after this premiere now?
So we've sold to 15 countries worldwide. Some of them were pre-sales in the early stages of the film to help it get financed. Some of them have been since it's been premiered at Venice and
Where it was nominated for the Golden Lion.
Correct.
The Queer Lion.
The Queer Lion.
Oh, the Queer Lion. The Queer Lion. God, its names.
And so as it's been kind of slowly rolling itself out, more countries are signing on, and of course the biggest fish to fry is the U.S. for us. We still are an American film on this one, even though we have a co-production with our producer Corey Coppola, who is out of France. But so
a strange thing has happened, and that's everyone who works now at these companies we've been working with for years are all under 40 years old, and they don't have the slightest idea who Pierre Cardin is. So it takes a little
make them see a rough of the film at least.
Well, that's what's going on. So now we have the film to show, and we're working with the best sales agents in the U.S., Submarine, and they're working on getting people to take a look at the movie and get us a home for it, which will happen.
I know.
That's just what happens now in the process. So for the U.S. market, we have not yet sold it.
Okay.
But worldwide, Japan, China, Russia, Italy, France.
Well, in France and Italy. In Venice, of course, as was. And, it's going to come out in 100 cinemas on the same day there.
Fabulous.
So they're very excited. We did all the press, so we're going to have a great...
That's great.
But we have big plans in our hometown.
You do?
Because we live in Palm Springs.
I know you do live in Palm
where
Springs.
Pierre Cardin built the first and only Maxims de Paris suite hotel, Palm Canyon Boulevard, 1986. So we're hoping we can, the town write modernism. He's kind of the godfather of modernism.
Yeah.
So I think the town is really going to.
I know. I usually ask what's next for you, but I know. You're working on Trini Lopez, I'm told. Which I mean, we're always surprised with you because there's no connection between any of your films.
Except that they're all interesting.
That's true. That's true. So
people start bringing us things down. They're like, "Oh, well, now you do fashion docs," and they start talking about fashion. We're like, this is the first fashion thing we've ever done.
So, why Trini, and how far down the line are you with him?
Well, he lives in Palm Springs.
Oh, and you're not moving this time.
Right. Well, also, he's only 82 and he speaks English. Believe me, to us, that seems like so easy. But he's a wonderful guy and just so sweet, and he's filled with stories. And he's very significant in that he is the son of illegal Mexican immigrants who went on to become an American icon. One of the Rat Pack and was the first Latino artist to resist the system who wanted him to lose his Lopez. And like his friend Richard Valenzuela, who became Richie Valens, he said, no, I don't want to do it if I'm not Lopez. So we interviewed Tony Orlando already, who said he was the one who paved the way for all of our Latin artists in America.
So you've started filming?
So we have started filming. We've done an extensive first interview with Trini, and we filmed Trini in concert today with for 2 days. Actually, we did a double concert so that we have lots of really great footage, and then we did a sort of walk and talk with him at his house. His house is a museum of his career. The walls are just covered with all the different people that he's met through his life. And now we're beginning to sort of talk to other people. Dave Grohl has agreed to be interviewed. Trini famously designed a Gibson guitar. It's a Trini Lopez Gibson guitar, and a lot of people play it. So Sting's guitarist plays it. Dave Grohl plays it. Noel Gallagher. The Edge plays it. And so Dave Grohl has agreed to be on camera and talk about it. They opened. The Beatles opened for him in Paris, and so we've got that kind of angle to go into as well.
Ringo Starr and Sir Paul both for interviews for both because they famously wore the Cardin suit.
I remember.
And they opened for Trini in those Cardin suits. Both of them said absolutely, but they're so...
It's all about time.
Well, I'm relying on you to keep educating me. I knew nothing about Jane Mansfield. I did know about Pierre because I actually was at a banquet that he was a guest of honor many years ago, but I didn't get this close to him. But as I said, I really thoroughly enjoyed the film. It's a great film. And I wish you every success of it. And we're looking forward to see it on the big screen very soon.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you so much, guys.
Bye-bye.
They said, you're going to play Paris at the Pierre Cardin Theater. Really? They want us to play here? Because we're used to playing Dungeon.
Un artiste. Je voudrais être un artiste. Vu mon âge, vous comprenez, j'ai travaillé avec beaucoup de comédiens. Et je les ai respectés, je les ai admirés, et je les ai habillés et déshabillés. Moi, j'aime un homme quand il est viril et j'aime une femme quand elle est féminine. J'aime l'eau ou le vin, mais pas le vin mélangé à l'eau.